Okay, welcome to part 7 of Developing Vision and Purpose. And right now we're going to be talking about your calling and diving into that a little bit deeper. We only have a few more parts left in this module, so hang in there, and I hope you enjoy this. What do we mean when we're talking about calling? What is your calling? Um, I've read before that we all have a general calling as human beings. We all who are Christians have a Christian general calling, right? You could say to be a Christian witness and make disciples of others, right? And we all have a specific calling from God as well as Christians. So it's important that we try to discover over time what that specific calling is that God has for us. There's a great quote by a man named Frederick Buechner who also talks about calling. I love this quote, and he refers to calling, he defines calling as the place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So that might seem a little esoteric or deep, but the place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So what really makes you fulfilled can come alive in what you do? And where does the world have a deep need? And where those intersect is where God is calling you. That's what Frederick Buechner says. So I want to dive into it a little bit deeper and give you an opportunity to think about your calling. I like to personally think about 3 things and the intersection of 3 things in determining my calling or someone else's calling. And there are 3 simple things. What are you great at? What do you love? And what does the world need? Or another way to say it on the slide, what are your greatest skills? What are you passionate about? What are the needs around you? And the last question, where they intersect, what does that tell you about where you're called? So to break that down, when you think about it, God's going to call us to something, hopefully, that we're good at. Hopefully, he's going to call us to something that we enjoy. And hopefully, he's going to call us to something that makes a real world impact, where there is a need in the world for what we can do, what we can offer. Makes sense, right? There's a lot of things that you might be really good at, but not all of those things do you enjoy, right? And there may be some things that you love doing, but not all of those things are you that good at, right? So it's important when we think about our calling that most likely God's going to call us for our main purpose and calling on this earth as a Christian. He's going to call us into something that we are both great at and really love doing, right? Makes sense. But the third aspect is just as important, is that there has to be a need for what we are good at and love doing. So for example, maybe you are a great runner. Maybe you can run super far, super fast, and maybe you love doing that. But if the world doesn't have a need for you running fast, if it doesn't make a positive impact on the world, then it might not be your life calling, right? Doesn't mean it's not something that's good for you to do, but it may not be your life purpose and calling to run, right? Just an example. There may be people in history that have been called to run and have had an impact on the world through that, but likely it's not going to be someone's calling just because they're good at running and love running. So we need to look at where are the needs of the world around us. For me personally, I'll give you an example. I am passionate, for whatever reason, I'm passionate about constantly improving things. I love making things work better. I have fun with that. Strange, I know, but that's what I enjoy. And I don't like saying I'm great at anything, but I think I'm pretty good at putting together tools and resources that help people to improve in the way they do things. All right, so I feel like I definitely enjoy it. I think I'm pretty good at it. And I've been told that, oh yeah, there's people around here in the mission field and all over that could use my help. And anytime I hear of someone who needs help in an area where my consulting expertise could be used, I know, oh, there's the match, there's the intersection. There's a need out there for something that I'm good at and I love to do. That's in what I would call my sweet spot of my calling, and that's the way I want to spend the majority of my time, is doing those things in that intersection that I feel is my calling. All right. So that's it in a nutshell, but it's very powerful, and it's something that you can think about today and of course going forward in your life. Spend time thinking about, what are you great at? What do you love to do? What are the needs around you locally or internationally, and where do they intersect? And that could give you a good indication of what you're called to.